2022 FIFA World Cup Qualification UEFA. The European section of the 2022 FIFA World Cup Qualification acts as qualifiers for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, to be held in Qatar, for national teams that are members of the Union of European Football Associations UEFA. A total of 13 slots in the final tournament are available for UEFA teams. Entrants. All 55 FIFA-affiliated national teams from UEFA entered qualification. On 9 December 2019, the World Anti-Doping Agency initially handed Russia a 4-year ban from all major sporting events after USADA was found non-compliant for handing over manipulated lab data to investigators. However, the Russian national team could still enter qualification, as the ban only applies to the final tournament to decide the world champions. The water ruling allowed athletes who were not involved in doping or the cover-up to compete, but prohibited the use of the Russian flag and anthem at major international sporting events. An appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sport was filed, but WADA's decision was upheld and reduced to a 2-year ban. The CAS ruling also allowed the name Russia to be displayed on uniforms if the words neutral athlete or neutral team have equal prominence. If Russia qualifies for the tournament, its players will not be able to use their country's name alone, flag or anthem at the World Cup, as a result of the nation's 2-year ban from World Championships and Olympic Games in all sports. Format. Qualification format was confirmed by the UEFA Executive Committee during their meeting in Nyon, Switzerland on 4 December 2019. Qualification will depend, in part, on results from the 2020-21 UEFA Nations League, although to a lesser degree than UEFA Euro 2020. The structure will maintain UEFA's usual group stage/playoff stage structure, with only the specific format of the playoffs amended. Group stage, 10 groups of 5 or 6 teams, with the 4 teams that make the 2021 UEFA Nations League finals put into the smaller groups, with group winners qualifying for the World Cup finals. Playoff stage, the 10 group runners-up would be joined by the best 2 Nations League group winners based on the Nations League overall ranking that finished outside the top 2 of their qualifying group. These 12 teams will be drawn into 3 playoff paths, playing 2 rounds of single-match playoffs, semi-finals and finals, with the home teams to be drawn, with the 3-path winners qualifying for the World Cup. On 4 December 2019, the UEFA Executive Committee initially approved the use of the video assistant referee system for the qualifiers. However, VAR was ultimately not implemented due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on operational and logistical capabilities. Schedule. Below is the schedule of the European qualifiers for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. In March 2020, UEFA announced that the 2 matchdays planned to take place in June 2021 would be moved following the rescheduling of UEFA Euro 2020 to June and July 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, to allow for the completion of the qualifying group stage in November 2021 as scheduled. The changes to the international match calendar for March and September 2021, which extended each window by 1 day, were approved by the FIFA Council on 4 December 2020. The original schedule of the qualifying group stage, as planned before the pandemic, was as follows. First round. Seeding. The draw for the first round group stage was held in Zurich, Switzerland on 7 December 2020, 18:00 UTC+1. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the draw was held as a virtual event without any representatives of member associations present. It was originally planned to be held on 29 November 2020. On 18 June 2020, the UEFA Executive Committee approved the draw regulations for the qualifying group stage. The draw was presented by Spanish journalist Cristina Gullen and conducted by FIFA's acting director of competitions, Jaime Yarza. He was assisted by former footballers Daniel De Rossi and Rafael van der Vaart, who drew the balls from the pots. The 55 teams were seeded into 6 pots based on the FIFA World Rankings of November 2020, after the conclusion of the league phase of the 2020-21 UEFA Nations League. Pots 1 to 5 contained 10 teams, while Pot 6 contained 5 teams. The teams were drawn into 10 groups, 5 groups of 5 teams groups of E and 5 groups of 6 teams groups FJ. The draw started with Pot 1 and completed with Pot 6, from where a team was drawn and assigned to the first available group in alphabetical order. Therefore, each 6-team group contains 1 team from each of the 6 pots, while each 5-team group contains 1 team from each of the first 5 pots. The following restrictions were applied with computer assistance. Nations League finalists. The 4 teams participating in the 2021 UEFA Nations League finals, Belgium, France, Italy, and Spain, were drawn into a group with 5 teams groups E. Additionally, a group could contain a maximum of 1 Nations League finalist, but all 4 teams were in the same pot for the draw. Prohibited clashes. For political reasons, matches between following pairs of teams were considered prohibited clashes, unable to be drawn into the same group: Kosovo/Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo/Serbia, Kosovo/Russia, Russia/Ukraine, Armenia/Azerbaijan, and Gibraltar/Spain were also identified as prohibited clashes, but the teams in the former pair were in the same pot for the draw, while the teams in the latter pair were restricted to different-sized groups based on draw pots and conditions. Winter venues. Maximum of 2 teams whose venues are identified as having high or medium risk of severe winter conditions could be placed in each group: Belarus, Estonia, Faroe Islands, Finland, Iceland, Latvia, Lithuania, Norway, Russia, Ukraine. The 2 hard winter venues, Faroe Islands and Iceland, generally cannot host games in March or November, and therefore could not be drawn together. The others shall play as few home matches as possible in March and November. Excessive travel. A maximum of 1 pair of teams identified with excessive travel distance in relation to other countries could be placed in each group: Azerbaijan with Iceland, Gibraltar, Portugal; Iceland with Armenia, Cyprus, Georgia, Israel; Kazakhstan with England, France, Gibraltar, Iceland, Malta, Northern Ireland, Portugal, Republic of Ireland, Scotland, Spain, Wales. Andorra and Faroe Islands were also identified with Kazakhstan for excessive travel distance, but the teams were in the same pot for the draw. Teams were allocated to seeding pots as follows: November 2020 FIFA rankings shown in second column. Groups. The fixture list was confirmed by UEFA on 8 December 2020, the day following the draw. Qatar are partnered with the 5-team Group A, which enables the 2022 World Cup hosts to play centralized friendlies against these countries on their spare match dates. However, these friendlies do not count in the qualifying group standings. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D, Group E, Group F, Group G, Group H, Group I, Group J. Second round. The second round playoffs will be contested by the 10 group runners-up and the best 2 Nations League group winners based on the Nations League overall ranking that finished outside the top 2 of their qualifying group. They will be separated into 3 playoff paths, with each path featuring 2 single-leg semifinals and 1 single-leg final. The semifinals will be hosted by the 6 best-ranked runners-up of the qualifying group stage, while the host of the final will be determined by a draw. The semi-finals will be played on 24-25 March and the finals on 28-29 March 2022. The winners of each path will qualify for the World Cup. Nations League Group winners. Key. Team currently is in top 2 of qualifying group. Team currently is one of the best 2 Nations League Group winners outside top 2 of their qualifying group, and would therefore advance to the play-offs. Asterisk, at least one Nations League Group winner must be outside top 2 in this qualifying group. Top goal scorers. There have been 237 goals scored in 75 matches, for an average of 3.16 goals per match as of 31 March 2021. Players highlighted in bold are still active in the competition. 5 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals,